BRB Blazer.
Aaron Jones?
So yeah, Aaron Jones at 11. You guys both have him up there. I actually don't have Aaron Jones ranked at all. I'll be like the rebuttal guy at the end. But if you guys want to touch on why you guys like him,
I might move him down. He's one of those guys where I've had him as high
right
as
away,
6.
right away.
Well, no, I've had him as high as I've been flip flopping him a lot. It's like he's been as high as 6. He's been as low as 11. He's been 8, 7, 9. It's like that's why I'm like it's so hard to do it this early because there's a lot of moving pieces going on still. Go ahead, Dre. I lost my thought.
No, I mean, I was lower on him last year. They do have Jamal Williams, who when Jamal Williams played, he also did well. So I mean, they do have a good little scheme there. I just do see a regression as far as touchdowns when you do 18. It was him and McCafferey.
19 total touchdowns.
Him and McCaffrey were up there.
That's coming down.
So exactly. So I mean, even if he gets 10, that's not a bad year, but that's still fucking 50 something points lower than what you did the year before. So, and especially you anticipate the Packers getting another wide receiver. So I see him getting worse than last year, but I still see as long as the passing game can hold up, Aaron Jones is going to have a good amount of a workload. So that's why I have him on my list compared to who doesn't. But as long as he can stay healthy, his thing is the same thing as health. This past season was his first year that he finished the season not on the IR since he's been in the NFL.
Or on the sauce.
So or on the sauce. So
I don't know if it's sauce, but he tested positive for something.
So I mean, his game was good. He could catch 2, but it's just a matter of just staying on the field. But as long as it's mostly on Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, it's a wrap.
Well, yeah, it's any
but
of the Packers.
I think he'll be a top 12 as long as as long as they just do what they do. I mean, they were probably the worst 13-3 team in like history last year, and they what I mean, like they were like the Packers suck, but somehow they won like 13 games. So
yeah, I'll kind of. I mean, I pretty much what you said. It's coming down. He's not scoring 19. I said people said that about. I mean, there's always it can still happen. There was the fucking Kamara wasn't going to score, or the Gurley, and they end up scoring these big touchdowns again. So it can happen, but I think, like you said, I think it's coming down to around 10, 11 touchdowns somewhere in that range.
Still good.
Which is still good, but like you said, it's not 19, and that's why I don't have him ranked. He finished second, third.
Yeah, he was top 5 for sure.
I would say third. I think.
Depending on league, he was probably second or third. Yeah. So it's like I'm not ranking him at second or third. Those come down. He's finishing where we're kind of putting him. I think we're almost putting him almost kind of where we're looking at those coming down.
Yeah.
Like we're basically taking 7, 8 touchdowns off, and you take that, and he's going to be in the 8 to 12, 13, somewhere range like that. The Packers in general are just it's kind of why I don't like Aaron. Not I say that like Aaron Rodgers, but they've been more balanced than they have in years. I went through digging on numbers and percentages and stuff like that, and it was always they were top 3 in the red zone and passing, top 3 in passing and overall. It was Aaron Rodgers this. Now it's like they're balanced. They're running the ball on the goal line evenly. They're in general just a balanced team. And that's probably why they were ugly 13-3. They just played. Sure. They played good football. You said he wasn't really game scripted out too often. He was 50 something catches last year. I think like 240 carries. I think that workload's going to stay about the same. There was one upside, like I don't know if you call it flag but there's a notation I saw is that it's so late in the season. It was hard to say if this is going to go into next year. The last 4 games, including into playoffs, they workhorsed him. Like it was like 20 plus carries.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's going to correlate to the next year, because then you could see him in the top 5 if that happens.
100%.
Yeah.
So
the volume.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, was this just the end of the season and they were trying to win and they were like basically like, fuck that, we're not getting cute, Jamal Williams stay on the bench. Was it that, or is it like, is that going to transfer to that year? Because if that does, we probably all have him too low. But yeah, I think, like I said, the touchdowns are coming down. I think the workload's going to stay about the same. But if it does, like I said, there's that upside built in there. And I just, I don't know. I just think tied to Aaron Rodgers, it's hard for him to be a true bust unless he scores like 4 touchdowns.
No, for sure.
I don't think that's going to happen. But
yeah,
just they're just kind of too good of an offense in general.
Yeah.
This game makes me sick watching this game.
Yeah.
Pick a different game.
Go ahead, Chen.
I don't know. For me, I have so much I could say on him.
Do it.
I mean, I just feel like, okay, so last year he finished, I think it was like RB3, give or take around there. So I feel like last year was his ceiling. And then for me, Aaron Jones was kind of like an RB2 who hit that RB1 potential for you. But I don't think he could sustain it. And like we keep touching about how like, okay, like, yeah, this is early rankings. Like these guys could shuffle around. I just find it's so hard for me. I don't know if I can even have Aaron Jones in my top 12, even, when the rankings are all said and done. Just some numbers on him right here. The guy who you want to be, we keep talking about like volume, opportunity. You want a workhorse back. He only got 62% of the total touches. So, I mean, that's not terrible, but that's not great compared to some of these other running backs. Jamal Williams wasn't going away anywhere. 32% of the touches, and we'd actually touch on Jamal Williams a lot of times in the waiver wire episodes. He was a pretty solid RB2 flex guy for you if you picked up Jamal Williams, especially in PPR leagues. He was getting you like 10 plus points every single week, it seemed like. But just some numbers on Aaron Jones: 10th in total touches, 15th in rush attempts, 11th in targets. So in terms of, when we're talking about volume and whatnot, he's kind of in that bottom of the barrel right there. So, I guess we have him consensus 11 ranked. So he's kind of in the area. But even then, last year, 19 touchdowns. I don't, you guys said too, I don't think he's going to sustain that. There's obviously going to be some regression there. We saw Devontae Adams miss a handful of games. So I think, when Devontae Adams is there, I think he's what the offense moves through. And, we would see Devontae Adams get 12, 13 touchdowns every single year. Only 5 touchdowns last year. And then, dude, I just have so much. I don't know. I'm just not that big on him. But I could be 100% wrong when it comes to this. Obviously they'll draft another receiver most likely too. So, and then like I said, he kind of, I feel like he hit his ceiling last year. Doing as good, 19 touchdowns, doing as good as he did. But he only had 1,084 yards. You would think, if hitting his ceiling, hitting his peak, that he would have more rushing yards than that, and he barely eclipsed 1,000 rushing yards. But I don't know. I'm like the biased one on Aaron Jones out of us right now.
Oh, so I was looking at how many yards. I thought he had a little bit more.
No, I agree because we were just watching the game. He had a couple games where he murdered. Like against the Cowboys, he ran for 4 touchdowns. If you take away the Cowboys 4 touchdown game and the game against the Chiefs where he had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you were looking to find holes, like you're saying, if you take away those 2 games, he was a lot worse off than what the numbers would show. But he did have those games, and if you have him, you'll take it. So it's.
He's always been a big play player ever since he came in the league. He was actually on a per touch basis. Alvin Kamara was the most efficient back for 2 years straight, or close to. It was Kenyan Drake was 3rd, but you want to know who was ahead of him? It was Aaron Jones in a couple 1 or 2 of those years.
Yeah.
He's one of those highly efficient backs. And that's why he doesn't necessarily need 300 carries. He's been doing it for almost 3 years now with the efficiency. It's funny because it's there's someone you're really big on, but there's someone you're really down on. And if I pull the players apart and do one of those black screen things,
like player A,
player B, he is legitimately as far as juke rate, elusiveness, big play, he's Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. Just
a little bit less touches. There is pretty much almost no difference as far as red zone efficiency, as far as big play ability, juke rate, elusiveness. I found this website called Player Profiler. It's pretty cool. You can show you a lot of these numbers. If anyone else wants to look, go ahead. But they're the same player. It's it's kind of crazy looking at these two. I'm literally, if I just did the black screen, just put player A, player B, and they'd be you wouldn't be able to tell who's who, and you could they're just so close in everything they do. As I was talking goal to goal carries, conversions, catching, percentages, big plays. It's just kind of crazy looking at the two of them.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of hard for me to move him down too low. That's why I was because I was starting to that's why I had him at 11, and then I was looking at that and I was dude, it's just he kind of is Dalvin Cook without a few more touches. And if that's thing, like I said, where they did workhorse him, I was if they give him 260 and 60, he's going to be a top 8 back.
Yeah.
So that's why I was having a hard time pulling him down where I had him at 11.
Yeah.
That's why I moved him back up.
Yeah.
You just heard me all the things negative I said about Aaron Jones, but I can say one positive thing is that I just saw a stat before we even got on here, but in terms of yards per carry gained on runs inside the tackles, he was number 1 overall. So he, that's including everybody. That's including Zeke, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Derrick Henry, Saquon, all those guys. So Aaron Jones was number 1 in terms of yards per carry between the tackles. So
clip that shit.
Clip that shit.
Yeah, well, let me say a negative on him too, because I do have negative on him too.
He went to fucking UTEP. Fuck them, they suck.
Chill, fam, dog. I'm a UTEP alumni.
Oh, chill. Sorry, Texas.
Come out there. He did have 5 games under 10 points, so there was a little bit of boom bust variance with him as well. So I will say that, and a couple of those were low. They were 4. Was that fluky? Potentially. Most running backs that get a decent workload don't go put up 4 points. And most running backs that get 50 catches don't put up 4 3-points in a couple of games. So there's potential that was somewhat fluky. But yeah, you got anything else in the Jonester?
No, man, he's
the Bonester.
He killed me this year, but yeah, no, he did his thing.
Yeah, when you played him in those games where he had 4 touchdowns,
I played him against the Chiefs.
Jesus Christ again.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It was like it was brutal. I played against him in like 3 different leagues when he had that huge week where it was like 4 touchdowns or something.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I got this, and it was just like Aaron Jones. But then I've had him in my play draft league, so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna actually win hard money. I'll take it.